What's up, YouTube? PokePrimer here, prime and ready to deliver you our draft analysis for, I believe this is actually Season 6 of the NPBF. I'm pretty sure. We got right into the new season after the last season ended. I'm really excited, though. I really like working with these guys. They're all a bunch of really interesting battlers, really good battlers. And there's a lot of really interesting drafts in this league, so I'm really excited to get into this season, and I'm so hyped about this team. I really drafted a bit of a fucking weird-ass team, but I'm excited to use it, man. This is going to be so much fun. But, so, for the NPBF, y'all know how this works. It's another draft league. Man, it's one of my favorite ones to be in. And, the way they work is, yes, they have everything set up into tiers, but they have a specific amount that you need to get, and they draft each round in only the tier that they're specifying. So say round 1 this year was for tier 1, then round 2 was for tier 2, then we get 2 tier 3 rounds, 2 tier 4 rounds, we had 3 tier 5 rounds, and then our mega round this year. So I thought it was real. I think it's really interesting. I like that concept because it's very organized. It's not all over the place. And while I don't mind the all-over-the-place style of drafting, I like, I occasionally like hopping around, sometimes drafting a tier 5 before a tier 4 that I might feel like I get later or something like that. I kind of like that at times. I do like this structure a little bit to it. So, as I said, this year, they lessened the amount of higher tiers that we get, but they increased the amount of lower tiers, which I think is really interesting to mess with, because I love using some of the lower tier Pokemon a little bit more than I like the higher tier mons. So this is going to be a lot of fun to use this team. I'm really excited about. And to start off, since last season I was in the semifinals, right? I was in semis and had one of the better records in the league as well. So I was down, out of the 24 coaches that we had drafting, I was picked 23 because the person who made it to the semifinals, he dropped from the league. He just didn't feel like doing it anymore. So it was the guy who won last season was the last pick, and then I was right behind him. So you can kind of see how I was worried that I wasn't going to get anything good out of Tier 1 because there would be 22 people picking before me. That's terrifying. Like, I liked being on the opposite end of the wheel because it was snake style. So, like, David, he was the one who won last season, the coach of the Wellington Whirlwinds. He would be first pick on the second round and stuff like that. So I always knew I would be able to get mostly what I wanted for, like, the second pick coming around. But I was always terrified of that, so... But I actually ended up being able to scoop up, as you can see on the screen, we picked up Ron Weasley again. I told you I love this fucking Pokemon, right? I told you how much I love using Weavile in the League format, right? And it is my first of my 2 Z users, which is even better. Weavile has... I've fallen in love with Weavile as a Z Crystal user. It is so good. It is so good. So good. I love it. You love it. Love it. I've talked about Weavile enough times on the channel. I know I have already. I've already talked about it once just today in itself from the PTL draft analysis. Y'all have no idea how much I love this fucking Pokemon, dog. Y'all have no idea how much I love this fucking Pokemon, dog. I love this damn Pokemon. Actually, this is probably not going to go up the same day as my PTL one because PTL is starting like slightly earlier than NPBF is. But regardless, y'all already heard from PTLs. If you want to see how good I think Weavile is, go to the PTL draft analysis. This shit's wild. I love this Pokemon. But I don't know what else to say about it. I've said enough. Z Crystal user Ron Weasley gonna tear shit up. So. Done with that. Since I got that out of the way, I wanted to start building some of my cores. Fire, Water, Grass, Fairy, Dragon, Steel, kind of, etc. You know the drill. And Tier 2, I wanted to pick up probably one of the better water types in the format, and that is going to be Rotom Wash. not only does this give me my electric type, so I have Volt Switch options already. I can start building I can maybe build a Volt Turn core at some point in this draft. Rotom Wash is very bulky on both sides, and with Ultra Sun and Moon, because even though the season didn't end until the end of Ultra Sun and Moon, or the very beginning of Ultra Sun and Moon, this thing gets defogged now, which makes it even better. So this is one of the best support mons in the game. Having access to things like Pain Split and such. Hydro Pump is a great move. Volt Switch, decent amount of coverage and status options. Trick, being able to trick Scarfs on something if necessary. This thing can do a lot of things, and I'm really happy that I get a chance to use Rotom Wash. I called it Urate because normally I used to call them Maytag after the actual like Washer/Stryer brand name, I guess, but I didn't want to go for that in this league, so I just call it Urate because that's kind of like Game Boy Luke, the top-notch YouTuber. Love the guy. It's cool, really cool. Love watching his shit. But it's part of his intro. He leads into all of his episodes with like, "Urate guys, Game Boy Luke here," and I always loved his intro. His intro is one of my favorites for YouTubers, so I decided to go with that for our Rotom Wash name because guess what? His thing is Rotom, so I love it. Next came to Tier 3, and I was looking through Tier 3. I couldn't see anything that I really wanted particularly. I'm starting to get a plan in mind as to some of the mons I do want. I already know what my Mega pick I know is going to be, and I've already actually talked to David, who is actually the first pick of the Mega round. The way it works out is the last round of Tier 5. We're at the end, but we start off the Mega round, which is really useful. So I already know I'm getting my Mega that I want. It's just a matter of what I'm building to put around it. So I need my Fairy type next. My Fairy type is a priority, and it actually makes it to me. And we get Vermilion the Florges once again. Now, Florges is one of the best clerics in the game, in my opinion. The ability to Wish Pass as well as heal itself with things like Synthesis, on top of having Aromatherapy and or Heal Bell. It's really, really just fantastic Pokemon. Just such a good mon to work with. Its SPDF stat is ridiculous. Base 154 special defense. It's really, 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 really good. Its defense is lacking, but like a fully invested Florges in physical defense still eats physical hits for days. This thing's really, really hard to break through if played properly. And with 112 special attack as well, I've had situations where I've been able to run a Calm Mind Florges and sweep up a team. You know, it's been done before. I actually think I got like 6 kills. I just straight 6-0'd the guy with Calm Mind Florges that week, which was really cool. So I'm really, really happy that we got Vermilion here. It's a really fantastic Pokemon, and I'm looking forward to using it here in this league. By the way, for those of you who haven't been around the channel for a while, Vermilion it's just a fairy Pokemon. A lot of my fairy types are typically named in some way after something related to Fairy Tail, because it is my second favorite anime of all time. And so Vermilion is the last name of the founder of the Fairy Tail Guild, Mavis Vermilion, so I always go with that. The other counterpart to that is the other fairy type I've mainly drafted, being Aromatisse, which I typically call Mavis. So it's a little backstory behind the name there, but Vermilion is here to kick ass. Now, I felt like I kind of wanted to put a little bit of a theme on my Tier 3s. A little bit of a floral theme, mind you. So I decided to grab my grass type next, and that grass type is going to be Dahlia the Roserade. Always going to be shiny because of the black roses in its hands, hence the Black Dahlia nickname kind of thing. And it's going to be my other Z Crystal user. Now, Roserade is a very, very interesting Pokemon because it can be both supportive and bulky, as well as also being a terrifying offensive threat. Base 90 speed is nothing to laugh at. It's a very, very good speed stat to have. 125 special attack is menacing, and 105 SPDF is actually really good. Even 65 defense can be used appropriately if brought in on the right mons. Now, as a Z Crystal user, there's a lot of really interesting tech moves that I'm not going to talk about. on here, but they will be used throughout the season. There's some interesting techs, but even still, just the basic ones. You can hit really hard with Grassium Z or Poisonium Z for stab. It's got access to things like Extra Sensory, Shadow Ball, stuff like that. Even if we scroll down lower, like, sure, we can find something. Actually, no, we can't. Never mind. I'm going to ignore the fact that I said that. Even Normalium Z, if there's something that I can just break through. But there's a lot of very interesting potential sets that I can go with. As well as, if you look at its abilities, it has access to Natural Cure, which is typically used in the bulkier sets. So you can't burn or sleep this thing or something like that and have it be beaten that easily. It's very, very good Pokemon with that. Allows it to cure its statuses upon switch out, which is really cool. As well as having the Technician ability for more offensive sets. So I can basically, since Hidden Power is a base 60 power move, you can tech on a Hidden Power and you have a 90 base power move of essentially any type. So that's essentially carrying, you have HP Ice, that's essentially carrying Ice Beam. You have HP Fire, you're essentially carrying Flamethrower on your Rose Raid. You know, stuff like that. I think, what is it, Earth Power, isn't Earth Power base, I think Earth Power is base 80 or 90. Your HP Ground, you're essentially carrying an Earth Power on this thing. You know, this thing is really, really great to have with Technician for an offensive mon. And it can hit really, really hard. So I'm really looking forward to using this thing, teching on the hidden powers that I need when I need them, and just overall being able to nuke through teams with it as a Z-Crystal user. So that's pretty hype. So now we're going into our tier 4s. And when I say this was a difficult decision, I mean it was a difficult decision. Because with only drafting 10 mons versus the usual 11 or 12, I had to kind of mix a few of the roles I'd normally try to get on the team. And I don't like this one as much, but I feel it will still work. We mixed our Steel type with our bulky Psychic type. So we actually got Bronze Dong the Bronzong. Yes, I call it Bronze Dong because I am a fucking child. By the way, it's due to their new monetization practices, I can't be monetized anyway, so I'm just going to curse all the fuck I want because I don't fucking care. So fuck you. Yeah, no monetization for me. I don't fucking need it because I'm a college student who's just doing this for fun. But Bronze Dong is cool because it gives me another ground immunity. Ground types ain't touching this fucking team, dude. I actually only have one ground weakness, actually, which is really funny in the long run. I only have one, which is great. I love that. I love that I only have one ground weakness, unless I run this thing as Heatproof, which is also an option. But hey, Heatproof is a great ability, halves the damage done by Fire-type attacks. Also having the damage of Burn, making Burn only do 3% now instead of 6%, which is... If this thing gets Burn, especially if I bring a special set that week, which would be kind of interesting, like, bro, that's hilarious. But, good offensive stats, 89 and 79, so it's still semi-interchangeable, pretty good. Its speed is really low, which is cool, and good to work with, because I actually do have the ability to run Trick Room with this. I do have some decently slow mons that can run Trick Room, if I can run a Trick Room mode, or even just go back to the olden days of, like, was it DPP, where offensive Trick Room Bronzong was a thing. You can pretty much just tech on a team and just use it as a late game cleaner or something like that. If I remember correctly, this was like a huge threat in DPP. Amazing bulk across the board, 116 in both defenses. This thing eats hits for days. This thing finally gives me a Stealth Rocker for my team. By the way, I also forgot to mention that Dahlia here has both Spikes and Toxic Spikes, so now I have Spikes, Toxic Spikes, and Stealth Rocks on my team, which is great. Also forgot to mention that Vermilion here got Defog in Ultra Sun and Moon, which is also really great. So now I have double Defog with all options for hazards. Don't worry, I do get a spinner, so I'm not too worried about that. But, it's a good Pokemon. Really, really good. Really hard to break if you don't have the right mons to do so. There are some teams that just don't have mons that have the ability to break through this Pokemon. And if used right, I can just set this in front of the opposing team, and there you go. I love me some Bronze Dong here, and that is probably the worst sentence. People are gonna make fun of me for that, but regardless, I love Bronze Dong. Great Pokemon, and we're gonna see how this thing goes. Next up, I wanted to grab my Ghost type, and I'm not one who likes to draft same mons in between seasons. I don't normally do it, but this one's just too good to pass up. We got Spook King back. Spook King, our Dust and Wire. Y'all saw me use this thing sometimes last season when I was able to upload, and you're all going to see me use this thing hell of a lot this season. Dust and Wire is a great Pokemon. Its bulk is ridiculous, 135 in both. It's 45 HP, does not hurt it in all that much. This thing eats, swallows, destroys hits for days. So good. Such a great Pokemon. Has access to the elemental punches on top of things like Earthquake. Has access to Stab, Shadow Punch, plus Shadow Sneak for coverage and priority options. Has both Seismic Toss and Nightshade for fixed damage moves if you need them. Power Up Punch for potential setup. Different statuses like Toxic and Will-O-Wisp. It's also another Trick Room setter, so if I actually wanted to go for a full Trick Room mode for a week, I could definitely do that with Dust and Wire and Bronzong, both bringing Trick Room as options. I think it's Taunt as well. A very, very good support mon, as well as with its base 100 attack, being able to just nuke something or beat something down if it's bulking some hits for a little while. It's a good Pokemon. Just a really good thing in general. I'm loving it. I just love this Pokemon. Plus, pressure is really good with a bulky Pokemon because you can PP stall certain moves with it, which is really cool. Like if my opponent brings a move like Fire Blast, and I have like a specially defensive Dust and Wire, I can heal off a lot of the damage from those Fire Blasts, and instead of getting 8 shots, they only get 4 before they run out of PP, and then I can freely bring in something that might be weak to that Fire Blast and take care of it appropriately. Also, Frisk is a good ability as well. On switching, it identifies the opponent's item. That's a good way to scout opposing sets. Sometimes if I see something that I can maybe live a hit from, or I see something that might be going for like a Volt Switch or a U-turn, I can bring in Dust and Wire and Frisk it, see what kind of item it might be holding, if it's E-Belt, if it's choiced in some manner, so I can know how to play around it. I can take note of that during the match and whatnot, and just overall, it's a really good Pokemon. Alrighty, that's annoying. My mic actually cut out when I finally got a chance to start talking about my tier 5s. So Tongue Game the Licky Licky was my first tier 5 because I was beaten by it twice last season. David and the Wellington Whirlwinds. I have to thank you for opening my eyes to this thing. It's amazing. Look at its bulk, 110 HP plus 95 in both defenses. Beyond amazing. I absolutely love it beyond words. It's so good. Oblivious. Amazing ability. Cannot be taunted. Allows this thing to be able to perform its Wish, Protect, Heal, Bell, shenanigans. It can freely go for its status moves and such. Sub and setup if it wants to. Those kind of things. Just such a good fucking Pokemon. It has a lot of really good coverage moves as well to tech on if I need to. Licky Licky's a great Pokemon. So Tongue Game, the Licky Licky, is our first tier 5 pick. Great. Love it. Now, to continue onward, because I do have to leave in a few minutes to go grab some food. The next tier 5 I picked is going to be my Rabbit Spinner, and it is a meme, in a way. It has become quite the meme, and I love this meme. It's one of my favorite memes of all time. And my question to you is, do you know Dewey? Yes, I drafted Sandslash almost specifically as my spinner because I wanted to feature the Ugandan Knuckles meme in some way in my life. And do you know Dewey? And he definitely knows Dewey to Rapid Spin. Is another knockoff user on my team, so I have Sandslash, Licky Licky, and Weavile, all as really good knockoff users for my team. This thing is rapid spin as well. It's kind of slow. It can be used in the Trick Room alongside Dust and Wire and Bronze on. You can actually see the last 4 Mons I drafted were all actually really slow, so they can all be really good Trick Room Mons as well. So, good stuff with that. Just a good Pokemon. Sandslash is really, really good if you get a chance to use it. Gotta love this thing. I love Sandslash. I'm really excited, and do you know the way? I'm sorry. I will probably be saying that every time I bring it, multiple times during each match, and it's going to get very annoying very quickly, and I'm warning you now. Run. But, the next Mon I picked, and before you get mad at the nickname, wait till I explain it. I wanted a fighting type, and I was torn between Primeape and this Mon, and the only reason I picked this one is because it has a better defense stat, it actually has more attack, and while it's a little bit slower, I feel like I can do a little bit more with this than I would be able to do with Primeape in the long run with the team. Plus, it's something new that I have not used once yet. So, I drafted All Blacks the Passimian. Now, before you say anything, calling it All Blacks is not a problem. This is not a problem. There's actually a New Zealand, I believe it's New Zealand, rugby team called the All Blacks. Professional rugby team. That's why I refer to it as that, because it's a rugby monkey, and it's cool. So, base 90 defense, base 60 speed F, it can be worked with, especially with base 100 HP. Base 80 speed is not terrible, and base 120 attack, this thing hits really hard. I unfortunately cannot use its ability Defiant because it has not been released yet officially, which is unfortunate. But overall, this thing has a very good move pool. Drain Punch, close combat, a lot of good fighting type coverage, as well as having like acrobatics to use if I need to. Earthquake, Focus Punch, because I can toy around with that. Gunk Shot as well for fairies. Iron Head as well for fairies. Knock Off. Quick Attack, it does have priority. Hey, cute enough for me. Rock Slide, doesn't get Stone Edge, but unfortunate. Actually gets access to Seed Bomb, which is really cool. And Seismic Toss if I need fixed damage moves as well. Superpower, U-Turn. It's a U-Turner, so hey, there's my U-Turner finally. I got my Volt Turn core between this and Rotom. It's a really cute Volt Turn core. I love it. Don't hate me for it. I love this Pokemon. I've loved Passimian since it was first announced. I thought Passimian's design was so cool. A rugby monkey throwing around a little, I guess, berry or ball of some kind, or whatever the hell it's supposed to be, like a coconut or something. Just throwing it around. I think it's the coolest looking Pokemon. It's one of my favorite designs from Gen 7. I absolutely love it, so I'm very, very happy that I get to use this thing. And hopefully I can make Passimian work in this league. I'm really, really excited to test it out. So there's that. And so since this was the last Tier 5 round, I was at the end of it, and then I got to practically start out the Mega round by picking up Natsu, the Mega Charizard X. Tough Claw's ability allows it to nuke things, because and most of the moves it uses are moves that touch things, so it's like basically everything it is a nuke. 130 in both attack and special attack. If you think I won't be bringing a specially offensive Mega Charizard X at some point this season, you're wrong. Just warning you now. 111 defense is fantastic. It allows it to bulk a lot of hits. Even 85 def with the Fire Dragon typing is really, really good to work with. And base 100 speed, solidly just hit it right on that speed tier, which is really nice. Gets access to Dragon Dance if I want to set up with it. Also gets access to Belly Drum if I'm a Lord and I can actually get a Belly Drum Megazard X sweep. I will try it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but I will in fact be trying to do that. So keep your eyes peeled. It gets Defog as well, which is kind of cool if I actually end up in a situation where I might need that. And I need my other potential Defog options as something else. Dragon Claw, Outrage, etc. for all of its Dragon-type moves. Flare Blitz, Fire Punch, Flame Charge if I really want to use that. Focus Punch, that's boosted. Power Punch is boosted. Thunder Punch is boosted. Shadow Claw is boosted. Like, it gets a lot of really good moves that are also boosted by its Tough Claw's ability, which is really, really effective, and I think I can make a lot of use out of that. I'm really looking forward to using Zardex. I haven't used Zardex in a while in the league, so I'm really looking forward to giving it a shot here. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the team. I'm making sure that the mic is working right now so that I don't have to re-record that part, but we're here, NPBF Season 6. I'm really excited. The Panula Primarinas have a large chance. I think we have a large chance to go all the way. At least guaranteed make playoffs. That's all I want to do, is just have a slightly better record than last season to make playoffs. Again, if we can win it all, we win it all. I think we have a chance of doing it. Let's go ahead and fucking do it. So, if you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a like down below, subscribe if you have not already, and until next time, I am PokePrimer, signing off.